So in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to make this type of sound.
There's different ways you can do it. That's the way I'm doing it today.
Now, you might have seen this video floating around for years. It's an old video of Dillinja in the studio. As you can see there, he's really abusing those tonoids with this dirty, aggressive bass line. And we're going to look at today exactly the kind of techniques that he was doing there to make that. So let's get right into it. Here we go. Okay, here we are. So we've got Serum open here. The original sample that Dillinja uses is just an 808 kick, and this was used for years in jungle. If we just listen to it as it is, it sounds like that, and it's been used in a million jungle tunes. So what I've done is gone to sample mode, and then I've loaded in here drum, the kick, and the 808 here. And I've added a little bit of soft saturation, and I've also added a little bit of drive on the filter as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more sort of harmonic range and oomph to it. And that's it, very basic. And that's the first layer. So let's turn up the send, so it goes all the way to the send. Come over here. The first thing we're going to add is to create some kind of feedback. We need this tail filter here. This is also free. I'm going to put it into legacy mode. We can put it onto 1. We can put it on to like 4. We can turn it up a bit to like 6, something like that. Once we start playing into it, you start to get some sort of feedback signal from it. So let's go with a distortion. So let's go to kilohertz. Open up the distortion and whack this up. Put it into like saturate mode. Play around with this a bit. Okay. So you can see by blending this, moving this up and down, you get different vibes. But we don't want all the low ends. We want to kind of blend the two low ends together. So how we're going to do that is by going to an EQ, and we're going to move this to about 140. But we also want to change it to a low cut like this. You can see the signal coming through. Now that is from the tail filter. This is where we start to get this hiss. It's kind of inaudible at the moment, but we'll bring that out in a minute. First of all, we put this on, and we put this about 600, something like that. We're bringing it up to 24, around here somewhere. You can see that if we go plus 30 there, you can see the top of it now. And also bring the Q down so that it's not so tight. It's around here somewhere. Right there somewhere. We can also blend this in. It gets quite harsh when it's like that. So around there. And then let's just grind this up a little bit more. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the air windows. Let's open this up, and you'll see inside we've got lots of different options. We go to the distortion section, and density. Turn this up to about here somewhere. It starts to bring that noise out, you see, or something like that. So you can hear that noise. The density is bringing that in and out, you see. So we have that around about, we're quite low for the now because we can bring it out even more. And the way to do that is actually to get rid of this and then use OTT. As you can see, that's really brought it out now. You see that white noise. Just down a bit, back that up a bit, back that up a bit. Don't have to go too crazy. This time, like I say, if you move it to the right, it kind of stop straight away, but if you bring this left, you get that kind of tail, which is kind of what we want here. So now we end up with the original sound, but we can now okay, and that's basically what he was doing in that video. As you saw him just moving the fader up and down and using the distortion and the noise to kind of create those cool, sick basses. Really experiment with it, come up with different distortion like racks. Once you've got your rack together, you can basically go ahead and select all of these like this, and then Command and G. That will create a group for you, and then you can go ahead and save this as a rack, and then that is now saved for later use. Whenever I want to come back and use it, I can just load that into my send. Away we go. One other thing you can do is you can also add another send here. So add one of these, and this time add a bit of reverb. So let's go for kilohertz once again, and make sure the mix is all the way up. The K can be on like 3.1, something like that. Doesn't need to be massive. I know where I'm going. We can now control this once again with the volume here. So let's just get some. So make sure that you've actually sent this as well. So send this, send to the reverb, 100%, and then control it with this, and then you'll get that. Okay, you see. So let's go and have a look now at a more modern type of bass, using the same techniques, but we're going to use a group chain this time instead of the send. It's exactly the same idea basically with parallel processing. And let's see what other things we could maybe add to it this time. So let's go and have a look. So this time what I've done is I've taken a sound from the free sample pack that's coming soon for you guys. Let's have a listen to the sound first. That's how it sounds. Let's try and funk it up a bit by adding a distortion. So let's go in here and let's add some drive to it. So now it's gone really crunchy. What we're going to do also though is we're going to select that and we're going to Command G to group it. Now we've got this group, and we're going to add a new thing in here. Just an empty one, so don't select anything, put this up top, but I like it up top anyway, and this is my dry layer. And then DIY or DY, or dry, that's the one. And then this one can be the wet layer. There we go. And we've got this, but we've got two low ends playing together, so next thing we need is our EQ. So let's add the EQ on here. We can do a similar thing to what we did last time. So let's low cut it. Let's move it to about 140-ish. And let's then add a little boost up here on 600-ish, around here somewhere. Remember to expand it like that if you want to see all of it. And so you can then move that up to like 24. Bring this down a bit, so something like this. So you can hear this layer getting a bit crazy now. So to blend it in, what we can do to make it easier is we can just set up a controller here. So let's come in here and just control the level nice and easy with one of these. And so now we've got that, we can start to blend that in. And the next thing we'll do is we'll add the, let's go with this, let's try this. I think this will be a good plan, so this is a good thing to show you guys. And that is to add the ring modulator. But what we do is we put this to about here somewhere, and we select the noise, and we're going to get some nice and crunchy. Go. Get it nice and crunchy. And then after that, we can also bring in the windows again, I believe. Let's try that. Once again, let's go for the density. So let's try this. Whack this up a bit. Turn this back up. Somewhere. And then what we'll do is after this, we can then add the OTT, I reckon, just to bring out even more of that craziness. So you can see we draw some automation in here. Let's just go ahead now and bounce this down. There we go. Cool, so we got this bounce down. What I would also do, and this is kind of worth noting, is I would always go to my sub as well, and I would also bounce this down, just so that I have a copy of my sub. So let's take this. I believe this is also in F, but then it kind of pitches down. So let's go inside the audio and go to pitch. And we can kind of copy this so it does the same kind of thing. If this is going to like 3. So we now got this pitching down 3. This comes down 3 as well, so together. But what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate this one, but we're not going to cut the bottom out, because I find sometimes you get a nice reaction between the distortions and things when you've got a sub and mid playing together. So I'm not going to cut that out. I'm actually going to start showing you a few things here that you could just go to expand these sounds. So these are not free plugins though, so if you guys have these, then all cool, but these are some ideas for you. You could use the Infiltrator by Devious Machines, which is a cool plugin. Just go through the presets. For example, there's loads of presets, to be honest. You can go for Complete Destruction. And you can get some cool like little effect sounds, noises. You can totally change it, as you can see, like that. You could also go for like filtered sounds. There's some really cool filtering things in here, like so you can see you really get some cool sounds just from using the Infiltrator presets. Like you go through those, you come up with loads of little vibes. It's always going to fit in your tune, right? Because they've come from the original sample you're using. Another really cool plugin you could use is Portal. That will give you some really cool sounds as well. Go through once again presets. I think even the default will give you something, as you can see. See, already getting some cool stuff. So you can hear that gives you some really cool sounds as well. I mean, think about your transitions. Slapping something like these on them can be really interesting just to give you some variation and changes to the sound. Some other things you could use are like Rift is a good one as a distortion. Amazingly, it does have some cool things you can get out of Rift actually. As a plugin, even though it's a distortion, it can be quite a creative distortion. So you can get some really good sounds from that as well. Like for example, as you can see. You could also try something like Tantra. And we could just go for some random presets. So you can get some quite interesting sounds like that as well. So just rinse and repeat. So a few little extra tips at the end there of this video. So I hope you guys learned something on this one. We went quite in depth in this kind of technique. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And nice one for sticking around, those who did. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. And comment as well. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions, guys. So once again, thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. Until the next one, peace.